Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Tonight we are doing a workshop on sibling support, and it's going to be presented by Akila, Dada, and myself, Zainab, Virjee.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Akila Dada. I'm an Ontario certified teacher and child life specialist. I currently work at McMaster Children's Hospital on the Adolescent Medicine Unit, and I'm also pursuing my Master's of Science in Child Life and Pediatric Psychosocial Care, inshallah, to be completed this summer. I'm a mom of two wonderful boys, and I love to travel and learn about new cultures. I also co-wrote a book called A Bedtime Prayer for Peace.
And I am Zainab Virjee. I'm a child and youth care practitioner. I currently work at a Dufferin Peel Catholic District School Board supporting children and youth in a school environment. I hold a Master's of Arts in Child and Youth Care from Ryerson University and professionally certified by the Child and Youth Certification Board. I'm also a published author of an article called A Deep Dive into the Journey of a Muslim CYC Practitioner. Both Akila and I have been a part of SMILE for many, many years. We started both on the children's event team, moved to the assessment team, and now we continue supporting SMILE by being a part of the Health Advisory Committee.
As a parent, we know you want to give equal attention to all your children, but when parenting a child with special needs, that can be hard. Your child with a disability needs you, but so do his or her siblings. It may feel like sometimes there's just never enough time or your attention to go around, and your other kids might begin to feel left out. It can help to understand what your typically developing child or teen might be thinking and feeling. Kids love their siblings. They want to understand why there are some things that a sibling with a disability cannot do and how they can help. By answering questions in an age-appropriate way and being open and honest, you can help ease their worries, clear up confusion, and maybe even give the other kid a chance to help out. Kids who feel understood, loved, and secure about their place in the family can thrive, and the bond between siblings can grow. So this is a small part of a document called Caring for Siblings by the Kids Health Network. It's a great document that goes over how kids understand having a sibling with a disability and goes through the ages and stages of development. So I put up just a little snippet, a little example for you. So the example that I use, and again, it does go through all the stages. I do highly recommend that you do take a look at it. So here they're talking about preschoolers, which are kids ages 3 to 5. By nature, preschoolers feel that everything is about them and what they want, from the game they want to play to the toy they ask for at a store. So helping them understand why their sibling might need more of your time or attention can be really hard. It can help to set aside some one-to-one time with your child, even if it's a few minutes to read a book, play a ball, or even have your child help in the kitchen. When kids ask about their siblings, it's important to explain the condition using simple language in a way that kids can understand and use real words like cerebral palsy instead of a boo-boo. This prevents confusion in kids who may get their own cuts and scrapes. You don't want a child to be overly concerned if they got a scrape on their head. Kids at this age are also magical thinkers, so the monster under their bed to them is real, and the drink they poured at the tea party is actually really hot in their mind. When kids have a sibling with special needs, this type of thinking can mean they worry about the disability as an illness, like a common cold. Reassure your child that you can't catch a condition like cerebral palsy, and nothing either of the childs did caused the condition. It's nobody's fault.
So it's important to acknowledge siblings' complex emotions. Siblings also experience an array of complicated emotions, which they may be reluctant to discuss with a parent or a teacher. It is important to let them know that their feelings, even the negative ones, are normal and okay to talk about with you. Acknowledge their concerns when they share them with you and offer reassurance when possible. Siblings take on a lot of responsibilities, but often do not share their concerns or issue with their family. Take moments throughout their day to check in with them and make sure they are okay too. So we're going to take a few minutes now to watch a video clip. It kind of gives different experiences of having a sibling with a disability. It provides the positive views and also the challenges some of the other kids experience living with a brother or sister with a disability. So we will start that, please.
Everyone is unique.
Nobody has the same story as me, and nobody else has the same story as you. So, I want to know what it's like to be you. We all have different identities, and just like every person is different, every relationship who experience a disability. My name's Nox and I'm 9.
Hi, I'm Claire and I'm 13 years old. My name is Maggie and I'm 7 years old.
The word disability covers a huge range of experiences.
Well, when I was 3 turning 4, I had an accident and my arm was amputated. Our brother James has Angelman syndrome. He can't communicate very well.
This is John. He's 10 years old, and so he has something called a dual diagnosis. So in this case, it's autistic spectral disorder and Down syndrome.
So Claire's got Kabuki syndrome, and it's really, really rare. Not many kids have it.
But I have a disability. I have autism.
One of the best ways of explaining disability is that it's about the ways in which some people's bodies and minds work and the barriers that they come up against in everyday life.
Down syndrome is a disability, so it's sort of like special needs. Just stay still. Oh, you got next class. I don't have next. She's funny. And that's funny. James is very funny and makes us laugh a lot. He always keeps us busy, so we don't really ever bored. Having a sibling with a disability for me is just normal. I can't describe it any other way. Can you get a picture of and squeeze her? Best thing about Claire is that she's really funny. She's really caring. To support each other as a family, we normally just we'll talk it over. We all help each other to help John, and just because he needs extra help to understand things and to do things.
So we can't go on long family walks or things because she's got bad ankles and it hurts her a lot.
Yeah, it's like hurting me around here.
Yeah, but they're gonna fix that, aren't they?
Sometimes, he doesn't know what he's allowed to do and not allowed to do, so we have to always be there to watch him to make sure he doesn't maybe pull something apart or get into somewhere that's not safe. Well, sometimes when kids say things about me and say you can't do this or anything, I always try and show them that I can actually do it, because it fires me up and I think I'm going to show them how I can do this, and I'm going to prove them wrong because they think I can't and I can.
Yeah, it's quite frustrating because we know he can do it and he's not limited.
When I'm at an event and people stare, sometimes it makes me a little bit scared. And sometimes it's a bit annoying. If anyone stares at the disability kids or people, it frustrates them. I wish I could just just mind your own business. Yeah, it's his turn.
I wish a lot more people knew about Kabuki syndrome. Like when someone asks, oh yeah, what does she have? You say Kabuki syndrome, not many people know about it. You have to do the whole explain thing.
Well, I'd like people to know that even though if you do have an accident, just keep going. Don't just put yourself down. Don't think can't do anything now. Always just try harder and try to do the best you can do.
It's not just like the person with the disability. No, like there's a whole family behind it. It doesn't just affect the person. Like the whole household has to be around supporting the child or the person that actually has the disability.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
And I want to be a nurse.
A nurse.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I grow up, then I want to be a mommy or a teacher because I like telling people what to do. When I grow up, I want to be a pop star. Hello.
I would sum up having a sister with a disability as a better sister, a better older sister.
I love everything about John. He's kind, he's funny, he makes us all laugh and smile and happy.
A more fun older sister, a funnier older sister.
Having a brother like James teaches me that we don't all need to be the same to be loved, and we love James for who he is.
Every quality that a human being can have is better.
John, what are your favorite things to do? You like to ride your bicycle? I like to play the bike. I love to my sisters are so funny and small and cute and cuddleable.
Sure, it's challenging, but it's also, a blessing because it helps the people around him, helps you helping him and doing things. I think it makes you a better person, more aware of other people's needs.
I always used to struggle, but Hamish and Bella both showed me how to do lots of things with one arm, so it's helped a lot.
My family is the best family in the world because we always stick up for each other and help each other when we're down.
Do you like me?
No. No.
I can't even explain it. That's how special you are. You're awesome.
Yeah, I said
Yeah, you're awesome.
The good thing about hearing different stories from our friends is that we can learn to appreciate all the ways that we're different and all the ways we're the same. Hopefully, the more we can listen and understand, the more kind, empathetic, and supportive of each other we can become.
So I think that was just a short video to explore what it is to have a brother or sister with a disability. But I think one of the kids made a really good point that the disability doesn't only affect the child with special needs, but it affects the whole family and it affects the whole household. So it's really important to take those moments to check in with the other kids and also check in with ourselves to make sure we're okay.
So one thing that's often not talked about is expecting and allowing for typical sibling conflict. It might be tough to watch brothers and sisters engage in teasing, name-calling, and arguing, especially when one of them has a disability. You might be tempted to break up the fight and encourage the sibling without a disability to always be the one to compromise. But most sibling conflict is just normal, even beneficial part of growing up and developing social skills. As Myron Vidasi pointed out, a child with Down syndrome who grows up with siblings with whom he sometimes fights will likely be better prepared to face life in the community as an adult than a child with Down syndrome who grows up as an only child. So when conflict does come up, let siblings work through it. Brothers and sisters of children with disabilities shouldn't always have to put their feelings aside. They deserve to have times when they are allowed to be angry, misbehave, and fight with their siblings just like other kids.
So create a safe environment. In some families, brothers and sisters who live with a sibling who has a disability sometimes have extreme behavioral challenges. This might cause stress and fear in some siblings, while others may try to assume responsibility for their brothers and sisters that aren't appropriate for their age level. Ensure that children with and without disabilities are safe above all else, and that no child is in a vulnerable position. The personal safety of a sibling should always be given as much importance as the support and education of their brothers and sisters.
So next, we just wanted to touch on giving siblings opportunities to connect with peers. Parents have many options for connecting with other families raising children with disabilities. There's online message boards and local support groups, but siblings need the same opportunities to talk with other brothers and sisters who've been there. Connect siblings with a support program, and if there's not a group close by, consider starting one. A good support group, whether it's online or in person, will help assure siblings that they're not alone in their feelings, experiences, and concerns. Plus, it's a great way for them to make new friends, which is always a plus for any kid. Inshallah, when SMILE resumes its in-person programming, try to encourage siblings to attend children's events, as this is a great way to meet other siblings.
So provide access to age-appropriate information. Parents and teachers aren't the only ones who benefit from accurate information about the child's disability. Siblings, too, have an ever-evolving need for age-appropriate information about their brother's or sister's disability. Be proactive, seek out trusted sources, information, and provide siblings with disability knowledge they need. Include information about treatments, health implications, terminology, social and behavioral considerations, and anything else that a sibling might find helpful in understanding their family member's disability. And just like Akila pointed out at the beginning of her presentation, it's so important for things to be age appropriate. So always do that extra piece of research to make sure the other kids in the family are also understanding what's happening.
So actively involve siblings in the education team and healthcare team when appropriate. Siblings often have lots of questions about their brothers or sisters' school experiences and healthcare experiences. They're also an invaluable source of information. Consider inviting brothers and sisters to attend IEP meetings and transition meetings, planning meetings at school. Not only can they get their questions answered by educators and other members of the educational team, but they can also offer unique insights and informed opinions about and hopefully make the planning process a little bit easier.
So celebrate every child's achievement and milestones. The accomplishments of children with and without disabilities should be celebrated equally, both at home and in a school environment. That sounds like an easy principle to get on board with. But when one or more children in a family has intensive support needs, it can sometimes be really hard to put this in place. Connecting families with respite resources and helping them brainstorm creative solutions can help ensure that the milestones of all family members are celebrated. And this could be something as big as a birthday, or this could be something as small as one of the siblings doing really well on one of their tests. It's really important to celebrate all achievements, whether they're big or little.
So we talked about this earlier, but it's really important to carve out some one-to-one time with siblings. And yes, this will definitely be challenging. When you're living with a child with a disability, carving out time for anything is probably very challenging, but it is really important. Siblings of kids with disabilities need to know that the adults in their lives care about them as individuals. If you're a parent, carve out time from your hectic schedule to get some ice cream, go for a movie, or just window shop at the mall with your child. And it doesn't even have to be that extravagant. It could be, a 5-minute check-in about how their day was at school, but really sitting down to listen to them for 5 minutes. If you're a teacher, you can take out time for supportive one-to-one talks with siblings of kids with disabilities. Let them know you're there for them and they're important, and that you care about their interests and their dreams. So just a few ideas of what you could do with one-to-one time. You could check in on their day, create a morning routine with them, go for a walk, have them help you in the kitchen, play a short game, read a bedtime story, sit and do an activity with them, even if it's just their homework, and try to do something fun. I think that's super important. Like sometimes we get stuck in the day-to-day routine of stuff, but try to really do something fun. And again, it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't even have to be out of the house, but try to do something that the child would actually enjoy and remember. So there's tons and tons of activities. And if you're not familiar with Pinterest, then please get on Pinterest and use their search engine, because there are some amazing activities on that search platform. But we wanted to talk about kind of two things today. So one of the ones, because we're living through COVID right now, one of the ones we thought would be a great activity that you could do with siblings would be the time capsule, the COVID-19 time capsule, and we'll link it for you as well. But this is like, I want to say it's almost like a 30-page document. You don't have to do all of it. You can pick and choose what pages you do, but the COVID time capsule really captures what we're living through right now and the challenges that COVID has really had for families. It's got coloring pages for kids. It's kind of got like some journal entry pages, but it not only talks about like the challenges that COVID has increased on families, but it also talks about some like finding the positives that this last year has had. And it's hard to think about, especially with how much people are struggling, but there might be small positives that you could think of. For example, for me, it's the fact that, as a family, we're doing more dinners together because sometimes we're working from home, or just spending more quality one-to-one time, not always quality in the moment, but when you think about it later, it's really quality time that we've got to spend as a family. And the other thing is, with Ramadan around the corner, many families are preparing their homes for Ramadan, which is a great opportunity for some one-to-one time with siblings. So maybe consider planning how to decorate one area of your house. You can look up some ideas together. You can make lanterns, placemats, even a life-size cardboard masjid, like something that your whole family can enjoy. So again, these are just kind of a few ideas. And I, again, will plug Pinterest because I think it's such a great platform for finding ideas, but really try to think outside of the box and have the child have their input on what maybe that activity that you're going to do together will be.
So advocate for services that support siblings. And I know we also touched on this a little bit, but brothers and sisters are lifelong friends, role models and support systems for their siblings with disabilities. But despite the critical role they play in the future success and well-being of people with disabilities, there's little funding or projects and services that address sibling needs. To help acquire the information, skills, financial supports they need to ensure bright futures for themselves, but also their siblings. It is important to actively advocate for the development of new programs focused on assisting siblings. So Akila and I did a little bit of research, and we actually found that there are some, either within Peel region or the Greater Toronto area, so some agencies that actually have programs dedicated to this are usually group focused. So CANARC has a program, Organization for Autism Research, Young Cares Program, Kids Abilities, and Carrie's Place Autism Services. So if you can just touch upon CANARC. So a little bit of a description of one of the programs they have is siblings of children with autism often experience unique challenges that their friends or family members may not recognize or understand. This may experience feelings of stress, of not being heard, or may have conflict feelings about their siblings. This group is an opportunity for your child to connect with other children with similar experiences through activities and discussions facilitated by registered social workers. Support groups are open to siblings who are age 11 to 14. So the ones that I looked up are really group focused, but that's also a great opportunity for siblings to meet other siblings and really kind of talk about the good stuff, but also kind of talk about the hard stuff and work through those tough moments that they're also experiencing.
The one comment we hear from parents when they're thinking about going to these things is that just practically it's hard to get out of the house for just one more thing. But the good thing is, good and bad, is that a lot of these groups right now are offered virtually. So, and they're going to be offered virtually for the foreseeable future. And that can provide maybe easier access for people. Being able to put your child in another room with a laptop might be something that might be more practical for people to kind of give this a try. It's a little bit less commitment with not having to go to a separate place and worry about, dropping your child off somewhere. but it kind of is that safe space of being able to do it from your home. So I would highly suggest, if you've kind of been on the fence and thinking about it, that really give it a try, because again, with being virtual, if it's not something that worked out for your family, it's an easy thing to not continue, but you're in your safety of your home, and they can be very beneficial for children. So definitely something to consider, and you can check out the resources that Zainab talked about on the last slide. So just another sibling concern that kind of comes up often is thinking about the future. So many brothers and sisters, especially teens, might be thinking about what the future will look like and how much responsibility they'll be taking on for their sibling as their parents grow older. So parents can really help facilitate this conversation by making solid plans for the future of their children with disabilities, listening really attentively to siblings' inputs and suggestions, developing backup plans in case plan A doesn't work out, and accepting that siblings' availability may change over time and plan accordingly, especially as kids get older, their interests or schooling, everything makes them more busy, right? So that might also change things. And then sending siblings a clear message that they have their parents' blessings to pursue their own dreams. That's also really important. Siblings should have a say in how involved they'll be in the lives of their brothers and sisters with disabilities as they approach adulthood together. So don't be afraid to have these frank conversations. Be sure to include both male and female siblings in these discussions. Sometimes families lean on the caregiving support of sisters and neglect the role of brothers. Responsibility among siblings should be shared whenever possible.
So just to add on to that, siblings have a right to their own life too. Siblings have recognized them as individuals and respect their boundaries are two essential overarching ways to support siblings as they prepare for the future, both as part of their family unit, but also as people with their own goals, hopes, and dreams. That's something really we should focus on, especially if they're an older sister or a brother or a younger sister or brother, because there's so much focus on the sibling with the disability. We often forget to see what's going on with the other kids in the house. So that wraps up our presentation. We added a list of our references. That's all we got. Thank you so much.